In a small village by the sea, a young man lived a life that many would envy. He was strong, intelligent, and hardworking. Every day, he followed the paths set before him, working in the family trade, attending the market, and doing everything that was expected of him. On the surface, he had everything a person could want: security, respect, and a sense of belonging. But despite all this, there was a quiet restlessness inside him. It wasn't something he could easily explain, but it felt like a growing weight on his chest. Every evening, as the sun set over the horizon, he would walk along the shore, listening to the waves crash against the rocks. It was during these moments of stillness that the voice came. It started as a whisper, a gentle nudge in his mind. This isn't your life. This isn't your path. You are meant for something more. At first, he pushed the thought away. I am lucky, he would tell himself. I have a good life. I should be grateful. But the feeling didn't disappear. It only grew louder, more insistent, until it became impossible to ignore. One day, while working at the market, the young man was approached by an old traveler. The traveler carried nothing but a small satchel and a calm presence that seemed to make everything around him fade into the background. The young man, feeling drawn to him, asked, "How do you move through life so peacefully? How do you remain so calm in a world full of noise and expectation?" The old man smiled gently, his eyes filled with wisdom. "I listen," he said. "I listen to the voice within me. It is always there, guiding me, even when the world around me shouts." The young man was taken aback. "I have heard that voice," he said slowly, "but I am afraid to listen. What if I make a mistake? What if I fail?" The old man nodded, his gaze steady. Fear is the greatest barrier to true freedom. It is natural to be afraid, but the greatest mistake is to ignore the voice within. Trust it and you will find the path meant for you. That night, the young man lay awake in his bed, wrestling with his thoughts. The words of the traveler echoed in his mind. Trust the voice within. He closed his eyes, but sleep would not come. Instead, the voice inside him grew louder, more urgent. It wasn't a command, but a deep knowing that could not be denied. The next day, something changed. The young man felt a shift within himself. He could no longer ignore the growing tension in his chest, the calling to step away from the life he had always known. His family had always planned for him to take over the family business, to continue the work they had done for generations. It was a good life, they told him. It was secure. It was expected. But in his heart, he knew it wasn't his path. He stood before his family, trembling with fear but resolute in his heart. "I cannot do this anymore," he said. "I cannot follow a path that is not my own. I must find my own way, my own truth." His family was furious. They told him he was making a terrible mistake. They begged him to reconsider, but the young man knew he had to trust the voice inside him. He had to trust the gut feeling that had been speaking to him for so long. He left the village with nothing but a few belongings and a deep sense of uncertainty. He didn't know where he was going, only that he could no longer stay where he was. For weeks, he traveled, moving through unfamiliar places, crossing mountains, and walking through forests. Along the way, he faced hunger, exhaustion, and loneliness. There were moments when he doubted his decision, when the fear of the unknown threatened to overwhelm him. But every time he felt lost, the voice would return, soft and clear. "Keep going. Trust yourself. You are on the right path." Finally, he reached a quiet village nestled in the hills. Here, he found a humble monastery. The monks there welcomed him, and the young man asked if he could stay and learn. The head monk, a wise and compassionate figure, looked at him thoughtfully. "What brings you here, young one?" The young man spoke, his voice trembling. "I have left everything behind. I no longer know what to do. I only know that I must listen to the voice within me, but I do not know what it is guiding me toward." The monk nodded, his eyes kind. "The voice you hear is the voice of your true self. It is always there, but you must quiet the noise of the world in order to hear it clearly. The path will not always be easy, but it will always be true." The young man spent many months at the monastery, learning not only about the ways of the monks, but also about himself. He learned to meditate, to sit in silence, and to listen not only with his ears but with his heart. And as he did, he began to understand the voice within him. He began to trust it more fully, without fear. In time, he found work that brought him joy, work that was meaningful and aligned with his heart. He built new relationships based on honesty and trust. He no longer felt the heavy burden of expectations weighing on him. The life he created was not the one others had planned for him, but it was the one that felt right, the one that resonated with his true self. Years later, when others asked him how he had found the courage to walk away from everything, he would simply smile and say, "I didn't find courage. I found my truth. And when I trusted the voice within me, everything else fell into place."